Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we really try to unpack fascinating sources.
Yeah.
Get you that concise knowledge, maybe spark a few aha moments along the way.
Hopefully, yes.
Today we're actually journeying back quite a bit. It's an ancient narrative, but you'll see it has some surprising modern relevance. We're diving into the Deer King, patience, arrogance, and karmic justice, focusing on excerpts about the Mahiṃsa'rāja'jātaka.
A classic, really.
Exactly. And our mission today, it's to unpack how this symbolic tale, which seems simple maybe on the surface,
Right.
offers these profound insights into social messages, moral dilemmas, things that, well, they still hit home today, right? Okay, let's unpack this.
Indeed. And, the Jataka tales, they're really so much more than just old fables. They have this unique blend, a mix of story and quite deep lessons. They provide a framework, really a timeless one, for understanding human behavior, consequences, and how wisdom, real wisdom, can guide what we do. It's
Right.
not just a story. Think of it more like a lens.
I love that, a lens. It's amazing how these ancient stories just cut right to the core of things, isn't it?
They really do.
So let's jump right into the narrative. It kicks off with this anecdote from Savathi. It sort of sets the stage.
Okay.
Picture this. You've got this gentle, really virtuous elephant, known for being incredibly patient.
Right. A noble creature.
Totally. And then there's this mischievous monkey, always causing trouble.
Ah, the monkey.
Yeah, and this monkey would climb onto the elephant's back and, well, let's just say it was disrespectful. It would defecate right there.
Oh, wow.
But the elephant, being true to its nature, its kanti, that's the word for it, right? Deep patience.
Exactly, Kanti.
Yeah.
Enduring patience.
He has never retaliated, never reacted, just sort of took it.
Which is quite something, but it sets up a classic moral point, doesn't it?
It does, because the monkey, feeling totally emboldened by this lack of reaction.
Yeah, it mistakes the patience for weakness. A common error.
Precisely. So it continues this behavior, but then one day, the gentle elephant isn't there. It's replaced by a fierce one.
Ah, the plot thickens.
Right. And the monkey, completely misjudging things, assumes, all elephants are the same level of chill. Repeats its usual stunt.
Big mistake.
Huge. The new elephant, well, understandably, it gets enraged, throws the monkey down, tramples it, kills it.
A harsh lesson.
Very. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the Buddha then explains, look, this wasn't the first time. This wasn't some isolated incident. This whole cycle, arrogance, misjudgment leading to ruin it, had played out before, long, long ago.
That's right. This is where the connection to the past life comes in. The Buddha reveals that in a previous existence, that very same monkey had harassed a righteous deer king, known as Mahīmsarāja.
Okay.
And just like the gentle elephant, this deer king, who was incredibly virtuous, also didn't punish the monkey.
So, same pattern. Patience in the face of provocation.
Exactly. But here's the crucial part the deer king's thinking behind it. His profound insight. He knew, somehow, that punishing the monkey directly, well, it wouldn't lead to real learning.
Interesting. So what did he think?
He essentially thought, if I punish him now, he won't get the message. But someday, his disrespect towards someone fierce, someone not like me, that will naturally bring about his end.
Wow. So he saw the inevitable consequence.
He did. He understood karma. The law of cause and effect. Actions have consequences, maybe not right away, but eventually is built into the system, so to speak.
Like cosmic justice, almost.
In a way, yes. And sure enough, true to his foresight, the monkey later encounters a ferocious deer.
Not the gentle king this time.
No. Mistakes it from Mahiṃsarāja, repeats the disrespectful act, and, well, is killed very suddenly.
And the big reveal. The connection.
The key revelation, yes, is that the Bodhisattva, the being who would become the Buddha, was that gentle deer king in his past life.
Okay. So this patience wasn't just niceness. It was
enlightened behavior, a demonstration of ultimate wisdom, a blueprint, really.
That reframes the whole story. It's packed with moral lessons then, isn't it? It really challenges how we think about strength, response, all of it.
It absolutely is. There's so much depth here.
So let's dig into that. Is the deer king's patience just inaction, or is it something more, a kind of strategic action?
That's a fantastic question. And the Jataka is pretty clear. Yeah. It's the latter. It's strategic wisdom. The Deer King embodies patience, Kanti, yes, but not as passivity.
Right.
It's presented as supreme wisdom.
Right.
Restraint. He endures the insult without that emotional knee-jerk reaction. Not because he's weak, but because he sees the bigger picture.
Okay.
And that brings us to the second point. Wisdom through restraint. By not retaliating, he avoids creating negative karma for himself.
So he's keeping his own slate clean, in a way.
Exactly. He foresees the natural consequences for the monkey. He understands that some lessons, maybe the hardest ones, are taught by life itself, not by him directly.
It really flips our usual script about taking action, doesn't it? Usually action means doing something to the other person.
Precisely. And then you look at the other side of that coin. The monkey.
Yeah, the monkey. What's the lesson there? Seems obvious, but...
Well, it's self-destruction through arrogance. That's the core flaw. The monkey assumes all beings will be as gentle, as tolerant as the Deer King.
That sense of entitlement, maybe? Assuming kindness is a given.
Exactly. This massive misjudgment of others, born from arrogance, leads directly to its death. And this isn't just about a fictional monkey, right?
No, you see that play out.
It's a warning against mistaking tolerance for weakness. How often does society or individuals abuse gentle people thinking their kindness means they're naive or scared?
All the time. It's a common, unfortunate dynamic.
But the Jataka says, look, virtue is not foolishness. The wise person, the virtuous person, they understand the cycle of actions and consequences. Their restraint comes from deep insight, not ignorance or fear.
So the story isn't saying just ignore harm or let people walk all over you. It's more nuanced. It feels like it advocates for compassion without enabling, perhaps.
That's a perfect way to put it. Compassion, yes, but not enabling destructive behavior. It's about recognizing that sometimes the most effective justice, the most profound lesson, isn't delivered by us. It unfolds naturally through the consequences inherent in the actions themselves. It's like knowing when to step back and trust that system of natural justice instead of jumping in and maybe making things worse or just perpetuating a cycle of revenge.
That's a lot to process, especially now in our world that often rewards the immediate, loud reaction. It really makes you reconsider what strength actually looks like.
It does.
So how do these ancient insights speak to our world? Let's dive into that. It's pretty striking how relevant this feels to, well, modern society.
It really is timeless.
Yeah.
The Jataka isn't some dusty old text. It speaks directly to challenges we see every single day. Take the abuse of kindness, for example.
All right, we just touched on that.
The story is such a vivid warning. Exploiting patient people, exploiting nonviolent people, thinking their goodness is weakness. The story says that path eventually leads to self-harm for the person doing the exploiting.
The monkey's fate, basically, a clear example.
Exactly. It's that karmic principle in action. What goes around comes around, essentially, but with a deeper understanding of why.
Okay, so it's a societal warning as much as an individual one. What about handling conflict? Or like setting boundaries?
Well, that connects directly to moral boundaries versus revenge. The Deer King's approach is fascinating. It suggests this kind of moral detachment, maybe.
Attachment? How so?
It's not indifference. It's trusting that natural justice, the consequence baked into the action, will handle it, rather than seeking personal vengeance. It presents this sort of third way.
A third way, beyond just hitting back or letting it slide completely.
Right. It's not direct retribution, but it's also not blind enabling. It's a strategic non-intervention, in a sense, allowing consequences to play out naturally. And think about the monkey's failure to tell the difference between the deer.
Ah, yes, misjudging others.
Exactly. Treating everyone as if they have the same level of tolerance, the same nature. That speaks directly to real-world errors, doesn't it? Stereotyping, underestimating people, assuming you know how someone will react based on past experience with someone else entirely.
Definitely. We see that constantly. And what about those, patterns of toxic behavior, the stuff you see online or even in workplaces or families sometimes?
The story is a profound commentary on toxic behavior and natural consequences. It shows pretty clearly that those who keep repeating harmful patterns, often because they lack self-awareness,
like the monkey.
Just like the monkey, they will eventually face the fallout. It serves as this societal warning about unchecked misconduct. But again, it's crucial. This isn't saying be a doormat. It's not blind pacifism that just lets harm continue.
It's strategic.
It's strategic non-intervention. Recognizing that sometimes our intervention isn't the most effective or even the most just response. Sometimes the universe or just the natural consequences handle it. And tied into this is leadership ethics. The Deer King is a leader.
True. King of the deer.
And he shows that leadership grounded in virtue, in wisdom. It doesn't need violence to be effective. It can be incredibly powerful through restraint and foresight.
Wow. So yeah, it's not just ancient history. This feels like a manual for navigating some really tricky modern situations. Okay, let's bring this home then. How can people listening, how can you apply these insights from the Deer King in, everyday life?
Well, there are definitely practical applications. Think about workplace bullying, for instance.
Okay, yeah, a tough one.
The Jataka's wisdom wouldn't advise immediate angry retaliation. Instead, it suggests something more like, document what's happening, stay calm, maintain your own integrity, and trust that systemic consequences, HR, oversight, the bully's own pattern, eventually catching up with them, will take their course.
So play the long game, guided by principle, not emotion.
Exactly. Or think about online trolls or critics. The internet is full of, well, monkeys, metaphorically speaking.
Yes, it is.
The message here is clear. Not every provocation needs a response. Not everyone deserves your energy. Some individuals, like the monkey in the story, will eventually face the consequences of their own actions, their own karma. You don't always have to be the instrument of that consequence.
That's actually quite liberating, isn't it? Just letting it go sometimes.
It can be. And then there's parenting or teaching. This story offers a really vital lesson.
How so?
It's about teaching children awareness, helping them understand that not all people are equally forgiving or tolerant. Some mistakes have bigger consequences than others, especially if repeated. It's not about making them fearful, but aware that actions have real impact, and you can't assume everyone will react like a gentle elephant or a wise deer king.
Building that discernment muscle early on.
Precisely. And for broader social harmony, the Jataka reminds us that virtue needs balance. It needs clear boundaries. Blind tolerance, just letting everything slide, that can actually harm both the victim and the perpetrator.
How does it harm the perpetrator?
By allowing their negative behavior to continue unchecked, leading them further down a path that will eventually bring negative consequences anyway. Sometimes, clear boundaries are a form of compassion.
That's a really interesting point. Boundaries as compassion.
And if you connect all this to the bigger picture, like conflict management, the Deer King's whole approach is a masterclass in long-view thinking.
Right, not just reacting in the moment.
Exactly. What looks like inaction, it's actually strategic non-harm. It completely reframes strength. True power isn't always loud or forceful. Often it lies in wisdom, patience, and understanding that inevitable cycle of actions and consequences. It's a powerful reminder. Sometimes the strongest response is choosing not to respond in kind, allowing natural justice or karmic justice to unfold.
This deep dive, into the Mahīmsa'rāja'jātaka, it's been incredibly enlightening. It really hammers home that warning. Don't mistake goodness for weakness. And it cautions so strongly against that sense of entitlement, that arrogance we see in the monkey. Instead, it promotes this strategic patience, ethical leadership, and just a deep confidence in, karmic justice, for lack of a better term.
The natural balancing of things.
Yeah. Ultimately, it gives us this powerful model, doesn't it? How to endure wrongdoing without becoming a wrongdoer yourself in the process.
It's such a timeless message, and the essence, the summary verse from the Jataka captures it so well. The one who harms the tolerant, thinking them weak, will fall at the hands of the strong. Thus the gentle find release, not through violence, but through wisdom.
Not through violence, but through wisdom. That's powerful.
It really is, and it leaves us with an important question, I think, for everyone listening, to ponder. What does this imply for situations today where strength isn't physical, where it might be social power or systemic forces, or just the inevitable unfolding of consequences over time? How might you integrate